You know that saying, still waters run deep? Yeah, this is the story of a still water that turned into a full-blown tsunami and swept the whole family tree into court. They always called me the quiet one. In a family of sharp tongues and louder wallets, I learned early that silence wasn't absence, it was observation. My father, a self-made architect with the temperament of a courtroom judge, favored my older brother Alex, who knew exactly how to perform ambition. My sister Lisa, sharp-eyed and ever-smiling, knew how to weaponize charm. And then there was me, Eli, the middle child, the listener, the one they assumed would never fight back. Dad passed after a long illness. Pancreatic cancer, swift, brutal. He'd built his life around concrete and glass and control. But in the end, his body gave up faster than his blueprints. At the funeral, Lisa gave a eulogy that bordered on performance art. Alex arrived late, in a tailored black suit that still had the price tag tucked inside the inner seam. I watched them from the third pew, my hands cold around a folded handkerchief I never used. Afterward, the three of us were called to our father's attorney's office. I had expected grief. I hadn't expected betrayal. The will had been changed 2 months before Dad died. Everything, the estate, the company shares, the vacation home in Nova Scotia, all of it, went to Alex and Lisa. I got the piano, not even the Steinway in the front room, the upright in the basement, the one with 3 broken keys and water damage from a flooded spring when I was 13. Alex put a hand on my shoulder and said, "He knew you didn't care about money. This is symbolic." Lisa smiled. "He always said you were too pure for the game." Too pure, or too quiet to argue? The attorney, Dad's longtime friend, couldn't look me in the eye. So I nodded, took the piano, and quietly went to war. I didn't yell, didn't contest the will outright. That would have played into the story they'd already told themselves, that I was emotional, weak, clinging. Instead, I found the cracks. I went back through old emails, letters, documents. I remembered Dad once said he kept a backup of all major revisions to legal documents on his personal NAS drive. I rebuilt his home server from an archived image I had pulled onto my own drive a year before his death, when he asked me to, quote, fix something that kept blinking red. I found the original will, dated 10 months prior, equally divided assets, with a clause for the local art scholarship I helped him establish. The newer will? It had a metadata signature of Lisa's fiancé, Derek, a notary. One I knew had been under quiet investigation for falsifying title transfers on high-value property. From there, it snowballed. I hired a forensic document examiner. Quietly. I requested a Freedom of Information Act release for any legal proceedings involving Derek. And I found it. One sealed case, unsealed by court order after a parallel civil complaint. Lisa's fiancé had notarized 3 legal documents in which he had direct financial interest, Dad's final will among them. It was enough to challenge. But I didn't go public. Not yet. Instead, I leaked a sanitized version of my findings to Lisa and Alex. Anonymously. I waited. Within days, Lisa called me in a panic. She begged me not to, quote, drag the family through more grief. Alex offered me a lump settlement to just let things lie. I declined. And then I acted. I filed a formal challenge to the will, citing coercion and conflict of interest. The case went to probate court. It lasted 7 months. During discovery, we found proof Dad had been heavily medicated during the time of the revision. His signature, shaky, inconsistent with earlier samples, had been validated by Derek alone. Lisa and Alex's lawyer argued I was exploiting a loophole. That I hadn't spoken to Dad in his final month. That I had always resented the successful siblings. But truth has a rhythm, And my father, for all his pride, left a footprint in everything he touched, including an email, unread, never sent, from his drafts folder. It read, "I do not like what they're pressuring me to do. Eli doesn't ask for much, but he's the only one who listens. If I forget to tell you, make sure he gets the lake house." He never sent it. But the timestamp mattered. The court accepted it as a dying declaration. The will was thrown out. The estate reverted to the last untainted version, the one where we each received equal parts. Alex lost his primary residence. Lisa had to return the keys to the cottage. Derek was disbarred from notary practice. They lost their hold. But I didn't take the lake house. I donated it to the music program Dad once supported. I kept the piano, though. Had it restored. It still sits in my apartment, 3 keys replaced with polished wood, left deliberately unstrung. A tribute to silence, to the notes not played. The twist? They still think I won, that this was about money. They do not understand. It was about truth, about legacy, about reclaiming the quiet. When discovery hit, Charles offered a settlement. High 6 figures. Rowan declined. Then Penelope sent an email, veiled threats cloaked in faux concern. "Families are delicate things, darling. Let's not drag this through the mud." Rowan sent it directly to her lawyer. The trial was short, the evidence devastating. The judge overturned the contested will and called the actions of Charles and Penelope a contemptible abuse of familial trust and legal process. Rowan inherited Florence's share by blood, and Charles and Penelope's by verdict. She didn't gloat. She didn't rage. She moved through the house like a curator preparing an exhibit. Carefully. Reverently. But she didn't keep it. Within 6 months, the Bellamy estate had been transformed. Not sold, not razed. Converted. It became a transitional shelter for women fleeing abusive partners, named Matilda's House. Each bedroom was named after a flower from the garden. The library remained untouched. On the wall hung a single frame, a photograph of Matilda and Florence on a picnic blanket, Rowan asleep between them. The antique watch? Rowan buried it, not as a symbol of loss, but of legacy. Beneath the wisteria, just past the garden gate, no plaque, no fanfare, just a whisper.